Hello class, I'm going to go over with you today information about the differences between quoting material, paraphrasing material, and summarizing material. You'll be using summary, paraphrase, and quotations quite a bit in English 1A and beyond. Each of them has their own sort of special superpower, and each of them has their limitations. Now, where I'm looking is the Purdue OWL, the online writing lab, which I use quite a bit in place of a handbook for MLA, but it's also full of other wonderful things. So when you click on the Purdue Online Writing Lab link in your tools for the course, keep in mind that there is a lot here that can help you with grammar, plagiarism avoidance, writing abstracts if you were in a science class, and other types of help. They are a really wonderful resource. So we're going to practice this next with a writing assignment. But real quickly, some of the differences here that need to be noted and the things that students get confused about are paraphrasing and summarizing. So what is the difference between these two? We all pretty much understand that quotes are word for word from the original text and that they have quotation marks around them showing that it's a quote, unless, of course, they are a long quote. And then they follow a different format, and they have a parenthetical citation at the end. So paraphrasing, I always think of the phrasing part of this to remind me, like speaking, okay? So this is almost like writing the same words as the original. But what you're doing is you're putting the material into your own words. It's really kind of an interpretation, okay? I ask students to do this quite a bit when we begin to work on thesis development and we're reading difficult and challenging works. And I will ask you, well, put the author's argument in your own words. That's paraphrasing. Now, paraphrasing material is also usually shorter than the original, okay? You do use a parenthetical citation with a paraphrase, just like you would a quote, because it's not an original idea of yours, all right? Lastly, summaries. Summaries are usually a little bit larger than paraphrases. They involve using your own words as well, but they're much more general and they're much more broad. So every time you go to a movie and someone asks you what the movie was about and you give them a plot summary, okay? Oh, it was really great. Black Panther was about this guy and he's a king and then this other guy comes and fights him for his kingdom and he has this really smart sister. Whenever you do what's called a plot summary, you are summarizing, okay? Now, you still need to attribute the ideas that you're summarizing to the original text, so summaries also get parenthetical citations. This little part here about why do we use them is really interesting because I like to think of them all combined together. And here is what we have an example of. So when you are writing your essays, you can't use quote after quote after quote, but you do have to situate your reader in a position where they can read a quote. And that is where summary comes into play. So maybe you summarize a bit of the short story or a bit of the novel, and then you use a direct quote, okay? Or maybe you're paraphrasing an idea, and then you lead into a direct quote, okay? So let's look at the example real briefly, where this writer has intertwined summary, paraphrase, and quotation. So in his famous and influential work, The Interpretation of Dreams, Sigmund Freud argues that dreams are the, quote, royal road to the unconscious. And then there's our parenthetical citation. So this is an introduction to the book, and then these are Sigmund Freud's words. Expressing in coded imagery the dreamer's unfulfilled wishes through a process known as, quote, dream work. This is a paraphrase. Obviously, the writer did not come up with these ideas of coded imagery and unfulfilled wishes, but he got those ideas from Freud. So again, parenthetical citation. According to Freud, actual but unacceptable desires are censored internally and subjected to coding through layers of condensation and displacement before emerging in a kind of rebus puzzle in the dream itself. Now, this is a summary. So as you can see, it's only 3 sentences or 3 lines long, but the chapter of the book is much longer than that. So this person is giving us the gist, the quick and dirty, I call it, of what this chapter is about. But again, those ideas are Freud's and not hers, so parenthetical citation after the summary. Okay? And how to use quotes, paraphrases, and summaries, we will practice this quite a bit. You're going to practice now with examples that I will put onto a assignment for you for quoting directly, paraphrasing, and summarizing. All right? Good luck.